It sounds like the Supreme Court may finally be ruling on the matter of Trump's taxes tomorrow. Trump is trying to ignore subpoenas from Congress and from the Manhattan District Attorney, requiring he provide access to his financial records. I suppose that despite the fact every other court up to this point has said the subpoenas are valid, perhaps the 5 conservatives will choose to lend them a helping hand. But since in doing so they would be establishing a very problematic precedent, one wonders if one or more will bail on Don the Con and decide to agree with the lower courts. The astrology big and small isn't friendly for a good Trump result. The big planets I've already covered extensively, anything from bad to terrible, from all the big dogs, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Eris. But I have to say, it is curious to see that if you average out the degree values of Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, the current traveling triple Capricorn stellium, you get energy in the 25th degree, which is precisely opposing his Venus. This cannot be good. All the more so when Jupiter is one of the 3 energies and it rules the 8th house of taxes. Neptune is still in a very unfavorable spot, barely getting out of its recent station and still hitting his Gemini Sagittarius planets. And Neptune, of course, is not only connected to the 8th house, it is in the 8th house by transit. And just looking at tomorrow doesn't add a lot of hope. Mars is now inside his T-square, where it will be for another 10 days or so, and tomorrow it is still well within range of opposing Neptune, the co-ruler of the same 8th house of taxes, and it is doing it from the 9th of legal rulings. That's not good at all, is it? The Sun squaring Jupiter, which rules the 8th, can't be any help either, and Mercury is almost parked as it nears its direct station in a square to Neptune, again connected to the 8th. So that's 3 of the faster moving transit influences that point in the wrong direction for Trump. And then it gets a little spooky when we see the moon in Pisces, which is the 8th house itself. Wow, amazing symbolism, huh? All seems to be pointing in the same direction. I suppose you could take the most optimistic position and say, well, since at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, where the court is ruling, the moon will be at 10 degrees Pisces, it will be trining his Mercury. So maybe he will get a break. Maybe. But the longer they wait to rule, the more the moon will rule away from that trine. And I'm not convinced that just the moon trine is going to let this guy off the hook. I've seen plenty of charts in which the overall confluence of transits is so tough, trines not only don't help, sometimes they actually contribute to the negative outcome. As he likes to say, we'll see what happens. My bet is against him on this one. But even if it turns out the Supremes decide to protect him one more time, it won't matter, because in the bigger picture, his fate is sealed.